Buzz, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about a group that hasn't even officially debuted yet, but is already shaking up the entire K-pop world. And when I say shaking up, I mean literally charting like a veteran group before they've even stepped onto the debut stage. Yes, I'm talking about Alpha Drive 1. And trust me, this story is wild because it really makes you wonder how big they're gonna be once their debut album finally drops. So let's get into it. On the 3rd, Alpha Drive 1 pre-released a track called Formula from their upcoming debut album, Euphoria. And I know pre-release singles are pretty common these days, but what's not common is a pre-debut group charting like they've already been in the industry for years. Formula didn't just perform well, it swept domestic and international charts in a way that honestly surprised a lot of people, including me. Let's start with the global numbers because that's where things get crazy. Formula ranked in the top 10 of iTunes Top Songs charts in 8 different countries. 8. And not small markets either. It hit number 1 in Indonesia and Thailand, number 2 in the Philippines, and number 3 in Vietnam. For a group that has not even debuted, that is insane. And I want to know what you think. Is this a sign that fandoms overseas are now forming earlier than ever, even before official debut? Because this feels like a trend that's getting stronger each year. The song also made it to number 23 on the worldwide iTunes song chart. And topping the Japanese iTunes K-pop Top Songs and Line Music's real-time Top 100? That is huge. Japan is one of the hardest markets to break into. Groups can be active for years and still struggle to chart there. Alpha Drive 1 walked in and immediately left a footprint. And honestly, that blew my mind. So I'm curious, do you think Japan is becoming more open to rookies, or is Alpha Drive 1 just built different? Let me know what you think, because I see arguments both ways. Now let's talk about the domestic charts, because the success didn't stop internationally. Formula ranked 3rd on Melon and Genie's latest charts in its first week. 3rd. That means they were literally competing with established artists who have years of experience and massive fan bases. And even after 30 days, the song is still sitting in 4th place on the Hot 100. Longevity is not easy to achieve. Even popular groups drop off fast if the general public doesn't connect with the song. So the fact that Formula is staying strong means people aren't just clicking out of curiosity. They're actually listening and replaying it. And this is where I want to jump in with a personal observation, because this is what caught my attention the most. Usually when survival show groups or pre-debut groups release songs, the hype comes mostly from existing fans who followed them during the show. But with Alpha Drive 1, it feels different. It's like the general public is also getting interested. The charts, the streams, the international numbers, the media coverage, it all feels bigger than the typical pre-debut buzz. It almost feels like the industry is expecting them to become one of the next major K-pop players. And honestly, I can see why. Now, here's something that made headlines far outside the K-pop fandom. Forbes, the American business magazine, published an article titled Alpha Drive 1 Ready for Debut. Anytime Forbes covers a K-pop act, you know it's real. The article highlighted their journey from survival competition contestants to upcoming debut artists. But what really stood out was their statement saying that despite being pre-debut, the group has already built a formidable global fandom. And I want to pause here and ask you, how do you think they managed to build such a strong fandom before debut? Was it their survival show storylines, their individual charisma, or just the way the industry has evolved where fans latch on to trainees earlier? I would love to hear your theories. But let's talk about the song itself, because Formula isn't just a random pre-release track. It was produced by Kenzie. And if you've been in the K-pop world for more than 5 minutes, you know who Kenzie is. This is the hitmaker behind some of the biggest songs from some of the biggest groups. Having someone like Kenzie create your pre-debut song already shows the kind of investment going into Alpha Drive 1. Formula is described as the group's one-team declaration song, basically setting their identity as a group. It's like saying, this is who we are, this is what we're aiming for, and this is our sound. So the fact that they chose a Kenzie-produced track to deliver that message tells me they're aiming high from the very beginning. Now, if Formula is just a preview, what is Euphoria gonna sound like? Their debut album is coming out on January 12th next year, and I feel like they're building up hype in a very strategic way. Not too flashy, not too loud, but strong. And you know what? That might actually be the smartest move. Instead of trying too hard to get attention, they're letting the music and the numbers speak for themselves. But here's something I want to ask you directly, because this is where things get interesting. Do you think Alpha Drive 1 is about to become the next breakout rookie group of the year? Because the combination of their chart success, their pre-debut fandom, the media attention, and the production quality is making them look like strong contenders. Or do you think it's too early to call? I genuinely want to see what you think because every fandom sees rookie potential differently. Personally, I think they have a huge chance. And the main reason is that they're coming in at a time when the competition among boy groups is extremely fierce. You have established 4th-gen leaders, fast-climbing 5th-gen groups, and a massive global audience that is hungry for new talent. But somehow, Alpha Drive 1 is cutting through the noise. That doesn't happen accidentally. It means something about their identity is resonating. And speaking of identity, one thing that stands out to me is how unified they seem already. Usually, rookie groups take a while to develop that cohesive group personality. But even in their pre-debut interviews and behind-the-scenes clips, the teamwork is already showing. And that makes sense, considering their background. They come from survival competition experiences, meaning they've already been in high-pressure environments. They know what it takes to grow, adapt, and work together. That kind of experience becomes a huge advantage once they officially debut. But still, I'm curious. What kind of concept do you think Alpha Drive 1 should focus on? Something intense and performance-based, or something emotionally expressive and artistic? Maybe something experimental? Let's debate in the comments. You guys always have the best takes, and I want to see your predictions for their debut concept. And let's talk about the fandom too. Because a formidable global fandom is no joke. It takes structure, passion, organization, and people who genuinely believe in the group's potential. The fact that this fandom already exists before debut means they're entering the industry with momentum. But at the same time, strong early hype can also create pressure. So I wonder how the group will balance expectations with reality. Will they be able to deliver? Will the debut album meet the hype? Or will they surprise us and exceed everything we expect? Here's another angle I want to throw in. With so many K-pop groups forming from survival shows, do you think this format is now the most effective way to build pre-debut fan bases? Because for Alpha Drive 1, their survival competition journey definitely played a role. It introduced the members individually first, let fans form attachments, and built emotional investment. That kind of investment doesn't disappear. It follows the members into their debut group. But I also wonder if survival shows are becoming a necessary path now, or if Alpha Drive 1 is just a particularly strong example of it working. Either way, Formula is proving something important. People are ready for them. Not just fans, not just Korean listeners, not just K-pop communities, but global audiences. And that's why this news feels exciting. Because we're watching the rise of a group from the very beginning. We get to experience their growth in real time. And that makes everything feel more special. So here's the wrap-up. Alpha Drive 1's pre-release single Formula has swept international charts, hitting #1 in countries like Indonesia and Thailand. It charted globally on iTunes and dominated Japanese platforms. Domestically, it held strong in Melon, Genie, and the Hot 100. Forbes even wrote an article about them. Formula was produced by Kenzie, and their debut album Euphoria is coming on January 12th. They're gaining massive attention, massive support, and massive praise even before debut. Now I want to end this the same way I always do, by asking you to join the conversation. What do you think about Formula's success? Do you see Alpha Drive 1 becoming one of the biggest rookie groups next year? And what kind of concept do you want to see from them when they debut? Let's talk in the comments, because this is one of those stories where every opinion sparks a whole new discussion. Thank you for watching ALD1’s, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned because the next few months are going to be wild for K-pop, and we're going to cover it all together.